having a good property, so that it will affect our strength in a very nice way. Suppose I want to manufacture a 20 megapascal concrete, okay, 20 MPa, okay, so we know that 20 Newton per mm square strength after 28 days of that hardened block of concrete. That we have general mindset, okay. But whenever we are using that GGBFS for 20 megapascal concrete strength, so that GGBFS is giving us a more strength compared to conventional concrete. So conventional concrete means what? We know that 100% of cement. But whenever we are using some portion of GGBFS in some extent, so it is giving good advantages of properties in a response of a strength. So it is a very salient feature for GGBFS in a concrete manufacturing process. I was also talking about the microstructure, then metrics and everything. Okay, so here in my next slide you can see that uh, this picture not taken from Google. This is from original research work, because my PhD was in that topic to make advantageous concrete manufacturing. So whatever material I'm talking about, so this is the scanning electron microscopy of the concrete which we make from GGBFS. Okay. So whatever I was trying to say before the left of this meeting, that was the matrix. So what is the matrix? This is the cement sand aggregate paste. Okay. Here you can see that if conventional concrete will be there, then crack will be large. Okay. But here GGBF is there. So we can say that here 6.73 micrometer to 6.41 micrometer crack is there. When that crack developed, when we did testing on that, maybe already that broken our cube for testing, though we have only that much thin crack. Okay, if conventional concrete will be there, then that crack will be having a higher width. Okay, so we can say that it's having a good bond, good density, good strength. Okay, here from that ACM you can see the interfacial transition zone. That zone is between the aggregate and between the paste. This is a very thin line here I try to mention. Okay, from that you can see that some small cracks are there, and this is all the image after the breaking of cube. If we will break cube, so you can understand the width of crack. If you visited lab, if you have done your that concrete cube strength test, then you can understand. If we'll break cube, then what is the condition of that cube? But here we use the GGBFS. We broke our cube, we break already our cube, and we have only that thin crack are there. Okay, so we say that yes, GGBFS having the advantageous property considering the good bonding and good strength. Okay, so whatever I try to convey you through that PPT slide and images, that I clearly mention over here, so one can easily read and understand. So we discussed, so I am not going to read all the points, but whatever I discussed, that only I mention over here. But yes, that graph is important for you. You can see the GGBFS replacement, because whenever we are using any material for advanced concrete manufacturing process, so there will be a main concern that how much proportion we have to use. Okay, so here you can see that porosity is also main concern in concrete, porosity. Okay, so here you can see that if we are using GGBFS replacement ratio in between like 35 to 65, okay, 35 to 65, so porosity is in a range. If we'll go beyond the replacement, then porosity is increased. Okay, so that's why we are trying to use that material as per the guideline, as per the literature survey, as per the researchers recommendation. Okay, so when we talk about the properties, then it is having a significant reduction in permeability of normal concrete. Okay, so main effect of that material on the pore structure of concrete is the reduction of that pore via blocking them with the hydration product that you can already see in ACM image. Okay, because it is having good bonding So our material is not that much porous. Okay, so we can say that there is a less permeability, our concrete will be durable. Okay, means permeability, and we are talking, so for that also we have to perform test, and based on that only you decide. We did the test, and based on that test we came to conclusion that yes, GGBF is good as a porosity point of view. Okay, if we talk about the high volume of GGBFS, like high volume of fly ash in concrete, so it can contribute to reduction of chloride increase. Okay, whenever coastal region is there, marine structure is there. Okay, so in that case, that GGBFS materials come in picture for concrete manufacturing, right? Then there is a one another material is there, rice husk ash. This is the material which we you have seen, and you have idea about the rice when it is in a farm. Okay, so whatever outer cover is there, from that cover we are burning that cover, and we are that sieving that portion, and whatever that fine portion is there, this is like a cement type of material, and that material we use in a concrete manufacturing in a place of cement in some proportion. Okay, so this is your rice husk ash. You can see over here image, but in a next slide you can see the its ACM. Whenever any material is there, so it's a scanning electron microscopy is a very important. Okay, we didn't take any picture from any Google. Whatever taste and whatever fundamental things we done on that we try to tell you over here. That from that scanning electron microscope you can understand that how that material will be in its original own shape. Okay, so the application of rice husk ash we will discuss. Then it include use as a pozzolanic material. So pozzolanic material is there, so we know that pozzolana is used in construction industry. So in construction industry pozzolana is there, so definitely this is a concrete, so concrete will be there, cement will be there, so definitely as a supplementary cementitious material, as the advantageous material, we can use that rice husk ash because of its a good property. Okay, but there is a one advice to use as a partial replacement. So dear students, dear audience, partial replacement means we have to go below the 50%, and if a high volume will be there, then above the 50%. Okay, so here just a schematic diagram for your reference only, and that is taken from one researcher's paper only for your understanding that how it react. Here you can say that cement is there. Okay, then Ca plus Si RHA is there. Here my red pointer is there. Here RHA is there. Okay, so this is just a schematic diagram for the hydration process to give you the idea. But if this is typically most expensive material concrete that we know, but when we talk about rice husk ash, means it is having a similar type of property like a cement also, and having a good property. Okay, that's why we are using it to manufacture recent advanced concrete. Okay, so what are the application of that? You can say that for blended cement we can use, to produce green concrete we can use. Okay, to produce a high performance concrete means whatever our requirement from concrete, whatever the application of structure, based on that different type of supplementary cementitious material we can use. So RHF can be used for refractory, roofing shingle, ceramic glaze, insulator, waterproofing. Then if we'll go for oil spill absorbent, then also we can use. Whatever I told about that powder of RHA, so you can see that rice cover is there, we burn that cover, we got that type of shape, that type of form of that rice, and after the sieving of that material we got like a cement powder. Okay, nowadays silica fume, metakaolin, these are also in use, but here we are focusing on the main major advanced material which are exactly in a trend. Okay, so again we have to focus on the chemical composition. So yes, you can say that there is a SiO2 is there, Al2O is there, Fe2O3 is there, Na2O, K2O, means whatever constituent you are seeing over here type of things we seen for GGBFS, for fly ash, in a compare with cement, that type of chemical compositions are here too. So it is advisable to use in concrete manufacturing. Okay, but here again we have to see that quantity in how much portion. So this is the guidelines are given. So based on that guideline only, we have to use RHA. Otherwise, that will be dangerous for any type of concrete, considering workability or durability. Here, only for your reference, one table I put from researchers' paper for your more knowledge enhancement, because we have book and we have some specific basic idea. But if you are deal with the actual ongoing practice, then only you can understand the exact benefit of that advanced material. So here you can see the different strength, different RHA percentage. Means if 0 means 100% cement was there. If 30 means 70% cement and 30% RHA. 60% cement and 40% RHA is there. So based on that, you can compare all the strength with RHA percentage, with the water cement ratio, with the slump, with compaction factor. So you can say that if conventional concrete is there and if we will use some replacement of RHA, then we will good similar or advantageous properties of that concrete compared to conventional concrete. So why we should not go with RHA? Definitely we have to go with it, because our cost reduction is there. We are saving natural resources, we are saving cement, and because of that indirectly we are saving environment. That's why we have to choose such material for advanced concrete manufacturing. Okay, there is only for your reference initially final setting time graph I put. So based on that you can understand if any percentage will be there, so what is the setting time. So so how it will affect the initial and final setting time. So only for your reference I put that image, and for that we have given that graph that if cement replacement level is 0 to 35%, then what is the time for final setting time and initial setting time. If we'll talk about hardened properties, then due to microporous character it absorbs large amount of water. Okay, so bleeding problem we can remove, fine. Then we can say that aggregate paste is improved because of the advantageous properties of rice husk as. Okay, that concrete also responsible, or we can say that it is also very good to achieve a good strength. Okay, but from the researchers experience, from the literature survey, it is identified that we can use only 15% replacement of RHA with cement. We are not advisable to use that material beyond 50%. So that limitation we have to keep in mind. Based on that, drying shrinkage is given, age is given, that on how many days what will be the drying shrinkage. This is only for your reference I put that figure, because across all the ages the drying shrinkage strain of RHA concrete were comparable to that of concrete, whatever our conventional concrete, means whatever concrete we made from 100% cement. So based on that we can identify that yes, if we will use RHA concrete in a place of conventional concrete, means we will do some extent replacement, then that concrete will be advantageous in all aspects. Okay, so whatever I have seen you the in the figure and whatever discussed, that I mentioned in PPT. But now your main concern that for control concrete, what will be the 28 and 28-day curing strength will be there. What will be the durability if we will go with any acid, any chemical. So that table is given. So after 2 months of 5% Na2SO for curing is there, though you can compare the strength with control concrete. That CTRL, it is a control concrete, means 100% cement. Here 7%, 10%, 15% replacement with cement. Okay, so here you can easily understand that if control concrete will be there and if we'll use that RHA in our concrete, so definitely that performance will be good in RHA concrete, and that's why we came to conclusion that yes, RHA is advisable to use in concrete. Now nanosilica, silica fume, that is also one type of advantageous material to produce advanced concrete. Means if we have to go for advanced concrete manufacturing, then it is the very important material. Why? Because it is the nano. Whenever nano thing is concerned in picture, so there is some advancement in that. Okay, and we know that silica fume is a byproduct of melting process of in silicon or ferrosilicon industries, that we all know, because this is the very general thing. But this is a very effective to design and develop high strength and high performance concrete. Okay, so high strength concrete and high performance concrete, this is again itself for advanced concrete manufacturing. Okay, high strength concrete, high performance concrete, ultra high performance concrete, ultra high strength concrete, these all are already itself advantageous concrete manufacturing. Okay, so nanosilica is making that concrete manufacturing very easy by considering a strength, workability, and durability. Okay, but whenever nano thing is concerned, so we have to make some safety measures in a mind. Okay, we have to take care of health too, because it is a nano in part. Okay, so here flow chart of production method is there only for your general record, that how we got the raw material, then smelting furnace will be there, from that bag house filter will be there, and flow from silica fume, and this is the advantageous material to produce advanced concrete. So here physical properties of there for silica fume nanosilica, so based on that property we can compare it with cement, and yes, by comparing with cement we can come to the conclusion as well, we can decide that yes, that material having a good properties like cement, so we can use it in cement for advanced concrete manufacturing. Okay, if we talk about properties, so definitely it affects the strength, workability, and durability. So the properties is a very fine if we will go any type of nano material in concrete. But many researchers work on the application of SF, and they found little bit negative result. Okay, so there are two groups of researchers. Few researchers are telling that this is a very advantageous and good material. Few researchers are telling that it is having little bit problem. Okay, but we can say that from our experience, addition of silica fume nanosilica will enhance the different type of strength. And from that graph you can easily understand that here you can see the silica fume percentage, compressive strength is there. So from that you can understand that yes, it is advantageous. From our research also we can say that it is advantageous, but though there are two groups who are telling that no, it is not advantageous, and few are telling it is advantageous. But our group is going with the advantageous because nano part is there, so definitely there is a very positive and a good results. So it is the like only simple graph for your understanding. For replacement is there, for different grade, for compressive strength, so you can easily understand if M20 grade is there, M35 grade is there, M40 grade is there, M50 grade is there. So what will be the strength effect after 7 days and 8 days? So you can easily understand the percentage replacement. Okay, so this is only for that, and whatever I shown over there, here I put in another graph form. So I will share the PPT, so sir will provide you. So sir will provide, so you can compare. And whatever I talk about the health and safety issue, okay, health and safety issue, so you can say that yes, it is in a nano form, so it is a little difficult to work with that. Okay, so for some precautions, some safety measure guideline we have to follow to work with that. Okay, when silica fume is there, so it is the enhanced corrosion resistance, then alkali silica expansion. Okay, so there is still need to develop standard specification, because I told that two groups are there, one are saying another thing, other are saying another thing. So our government, our researchers, or our standard making team have to work on that to provide proper standards, so there isn't any confusion to use that advantageous material in concrete. Because our experience, we can say it's advantageous, but some other persons are there, so they are not agree with that, and that's why we are requesting, already we requested, and work is in a progress for that standard, and maybe soon we will get standard, or we are hoping for that we will get standard, and we are waiting for that. Another metakaolin material is there, which is used to manufacture advanced concrete. This is in a white in color. So if I will talk about the main salient feature about that, so metakaolin itself in a white color, you can see over here. Okay, that it will be considering the durability, workability. So compared to cement, we advise to use that material. Okay, so we can say that metakaolin has been shown to reduce the workability, but not as much as the mixture containing different material. Okay, so if similar, we can say in our technical field, if 5 to 10% variation is there, and we have some another benefit, so we can compromise with that till 5 to 10%. Okay, so the use of metakaolin may cause in increase in the heat of hydration. Okay, this is due to high reactivity of metakaolin and its accelerating effect on cement hydration. Okay, so we can see that, however, this property is desirable in cold weather concreting, no doubt. From PPT, from discussion, you can see that no, some negative things are there. But dear audience, whenever where that temperature is a very below 0 degree, or in a cold region, whenever we are going for any new concrete application or for new building, then that metakaolin is advantageous in that region, but in hot region metakaolin is not advantageous. Okay, so if we'll talk about metakaolin, then yes, based on the researchers experience, based on literature survey, we can advise to use 50% metakaolin replacement in concrete manufacturing. Okay, then if we talk about the economic point of view, so yes, economically the values are viable, or values are different at different places as per the requirement, right? Then if we talk about the metakaolin, in some places is a few times more expensive than cement, but in few it is like cheaper. Okay, so we can say that many part of the world kaolin clay is available, and production of metakaolin is a greater, as it would be reduce the amount of CO2 emission. Okay, so it is advantageous to use in concrete manufacturing. Okay, so now from all the advantageous material which are helping to produce advanced concrete. Okay, whenever concrete manufacturing is there and we are talking about the advancement is there, so we can come to the conclusion there are so many advantageous material by considering different properties like freeze thaw effect, sulfate resistance, alkali silica reactivity, then chloride penetration, many durability aspects, workability aspects, durability aspects, strength aspects, that type of things we will discuss. Then all the supplementary cementitious materials are very advantageous, and based on all the chemical properties, physical properties, mechanical properties, and its nature, we come to conclude that yes, these all materials are advisable to use advanced concrete manufacturing in recent trends. Okay, so here I can conclude my session. Now, if any students have any doubt, so they can ask me. But before question answer, I would again like to thank Professor Dr. Vikram Prasad sir, who contacted me for this opportunity. Professor Mumtaz ma'am, head of the department and principal of your institute. And no doubt, my dear students, you are the audience, and other faculties also join, other participants also join. So I'm thankful to you all for giving me that opportunity to share my knowledge with you. Thank you all.